Hey Crushers, Young here, and I'm bringing you a new Crush Them All video. Today's video is being sponsored by game-dex.com. That's game-dex.com. I'll drop a link to them in the video description below. Today's video is going to be a guide for staging. Before we get started though, as always, if you have any questions or comments after watching this video, I would encourage you to leave them in the comment section below, or reach out to me through the official Discord, which you can reach through the settings of the game located here in the community section. I would also ask you to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already done so, that way you can catch all my videos when they come out and stay up to date on all the latest Crush Them All news and information. Now, there are a few basic aspects to take into consideration before we discuss staging. The first being that you only need one of each element hero for staging. As you can see here, I have a dark, fire, water, light, and earth hero. This is all you need to beat stage bosses. Beating stage bosses gets element locked for the first time at stage 600 and every 100 stages thereafter on an endlessly rotating pattern, meaning we know how to disperse our prisms and gold levels, which we will get back to a little bit later in this video. First, we will be taking a look and discussing the basic cycle, which is water, earth, fire, light, and dark heroes. This order does matter, so you'll want to remember it for later. The next factor for consideration is which heroes do we want to use for staging if we are only taking one of each element. And I'm glad that you asked, because what matters in staging more than any other factor is speed. And I'm not talking about something as simple as ×2 or ×3 speed. That also doesn't necessarily mean hero movement speed, but rather the speed which a hero can clear the stage relative to other heroes of the same element. Remembering our basic cycle of water, earth, fire, light, and dark, we will start off by taking a look at our water heroes, and the king of staging when it comes to water is Luca. That's right, Luca, the first hero that you start with. In fact, Luca is the only hero that you need to beat the first 699 stages in the game. Stage 700, however, can only be beaten by an earth hero, which is where we start to see the cycle begin. So moving on to earth, we have two viable options for the fastest, and that is Pinky, seen here, and Voodoo Dagger, seen here, if I can find them. There. Pinky was recently released as a special event hero, only obtainable through the Lunar New Year event. However, if you missed your chance to unlock him, you will get another opportunity again in the future. The second best choice, and only slightly slower option, is Voodoo Dagger. Moving on to fire elements, the fastest fire staging hero is Monkey King, followed very closely by Spud and then Jasmine. Monkey King seen here. Spud. I said Spud twice. Scud. And Jasmine. Now, Monkey King was the Lunar New Year event hero released in 2018 and is currently obtainable from the Arena shop for only 200 coins, Arena coins that is. You can unlock him for your staging team, and even at 1 star, he is still the fastest staging hero for fire in the game at this time. Scud is inconsistently faster at staging, but that is only if he spawns very first and shoots your enemy crystal when he spawns. Jasmine has the highest hero move speed out of your fire heroes, but she attacks and stops at each enemy that spawns on the ground, whereas ground troops run right past Monkey King, and Monkey King doesn't target flying units, meaning that Monkey King will be attacking the enemy crystal in less time than Jasmine will, which is why he's the superior option here. Light heroes makes a shift to our first choice based on hero level. If your Hikari is 4 stars or higher, then he is the fastest light staging hero. As you can see here, mine is 4 stars. It's the yellow stars. Awakens do not matter in this case. Otherwise, if you don't have Hikari to 4 stars yet, you will want to use either One Eye or Light Knight, as they have the same base speed. Hikari's 4-star ability increases move speed for your entire team, including himself, which is why he's the best light hero for staging. And finally, moving on to our dark heroes, which are Kasume, and if you don't have her yet, Bat. Kasume has her Assassination 2-star ability, which augments her already impressive staging speed. It is not possible to unlock her at this time at only 1 star, so if you have her unlocked, she will be a minimum of 2 stars and already have her Assassination ability. And now that we understand what heroes we want to use and why we want to use those heroes, we can take a look at the first major governing factor to them, and that is prisms. Prisms are vital due to doubling the base stats of your hero for every 15 prism levels on your staging hero. Prisms are also vital as these dictate what level of daily dungeons you're eligible to attack, which you can see that information right here. And prisms are also absolutely vital for your player level, because prisms are what govern your player level growth. And since that's what determines your player level, and thus your access to player library orbs, it makes prisms very important. Now, taking a look at my heroes, you will see that they have a staggering amount of prisms on each. This is completely intentional. Since the stage 600 boss requires a water hero, 700 requires earth, 800 requires fire, 900 requires light, 1000 requires dark, 1100 requires water, and so on. I only need to put prisms towards the next hero that I'll be needing to beat the stage boss at my highest staging level. Currently, that means that I'm working on Luca, and I'll need to get him up to 5100 prisms before I start investing prisms into Pinky again. Now, on that same tangent, we'll go ahead and shift focus just a little bit, and we'll discuss gold and village mechanics briefly. I'll cut straight to the point here. Once you get to where you can get Robot Factory, this bottom option here, to 150, which is what's required for auto collection on that particular shop. As you can see here, 150, 150, 150. Starting with Falconer, you need 150 levels in your shops before you can move on. And what that will do is, once you get Robot Factory to 150, again, which is what is required for auto collection on it, that will net you roughly 920 gold levels. Gold levels are what we can upgrade here based on the amount of gold availability that we have. Now, I do not personally push beyond this amount because it isn't necessary to do so, but you can if you choose to do so. Just taking Robot Factory to 150 is more than enough to keep your staging well balanced. And if you can't make it to Robot Factory 150 yet, don't sweat it. Just get to a nice round number you can consistently reach, like 300, and don't ever wait to ascend if you're just waiting for gold levels. Ascend, disperse your prisms, rinse and repeat so you can progress further and get Robot Factory 150 for yourself. I'll also mention that the rough formula for determining what stage you can reach is gold level plus prism level. Stars have a minimal impact on staging, and artifacts have a minimal impact on staging. Prisms and gold are what really matter here, so focus on that. And speaking of artifacts, there are a lot of great artifacts that will help make your staging life much better. Goat God is a level 4 artifact, which does exactly that. The Midas set, the Golden Griffin set, numerous other artifacts as a secondary trait, and 3 of the event artifacts, namely King's Gloves, Flip-Flop of Speed, and Cloak of Speed. In addition to artifacts, there are also a few consumables that can be used to further increase staging in some aspects of the game. Some of those would be Fortune Cookie, Candy Speed, and the Teleport Cookie. These consumables are currently only available from their respective seasonal events, and would be considered semi-retired, the same as Pinky is currently. One final note I would like to bring up is some players do like to stash their heroes and use their sleep potions, dumping all of their prisms into one hero, pushing their max stage. I don't recommend doing this, as it makes staging incredibly tedious, and that's just not fun when it comes down to it. I'd much rather quickly rinse repeat. The overall gain that you get, even during double prisms, is not really worth it in my opinion to justify dumping all your prisms onto one hero. And while speaking about double prisms, I do not recommend what's the word I'm looking for here? Spending flues to double your prisms. So when you go to ascend, once you get beyond 140, you can pay flues in order to double the amount of prisms that you're going to get from that ascension. Even during a ×2 prism event, I do not recommend doing that. If you are going to use a double prism, I recommend saving up your arena coins, as you can purchase a 2x prism item from this arena shop right here. And that's what you should be using if you are wanting to get 2x prisms. Generally speaking, I would still use my arena coins for Dark Hunter. In fact, that is what I still am using my arena coins for, and I will continue to do so until I get my Dark Hunter to 7th star. At that point, I'm probably going to invest almost solely into the 2x prism artifact, namely because I don't have a lot of need for dumping into Monkey King or Luca. It's good to get medals for them, but I don't need them to the point where I would invest heavily into them in that regard. And that is all I have for today's video, Crushers. I'd like to take a moment to thank Monkey, Kalen, and AJ, who all contributed to today's video at various points in time, and I appreciate the continued support of all of you watching. Thank you.